Got all the questions. Guys, if you want to get last minute ones in, hit the super chat. Otherwise, we're doing RVDology and we're closing this baby out. So, Rob, RVDology time. What do you have for us this week?
Well, dude, even it's a Christmas special, and everyone's in the joy of Christmas spirit. However, uh, I want to talk about keeping positive energy through the holiday season and past that as well. And I want to talk about specifically, I want to talk about mental health. This time of year, and this isn't even an RVDology value. If it is, I don't know what to call it except for keeping positive energy, which this is a root of. But basically, I want to share my perspective. Now, if you think that drugs are bad, then you probably know that you and I don't agree on that. I believe that use is good and abuse is bad. I've had many, many, many friends overdose on the drugs. I never thought it was the drugs' fault. I know so many people that drink themselves to diseases, to trouble, to horrible lives, and people aren't trying to get rid of the alcohol. Like they are with the OxyContins and with all of the painkillers. It's very, very hard for people to get any pain pills that actually need them, that actually wouldn't have a substance abuse problem and would have a better quality of life using these, but they can't get them because of all of the people that abused it, that turned it into an epidemic, that changed the perspective and somehow made the drugs the bad guy. I don't share that view with you. And the reason that I'm bringing that up is because I want to talk about mental health. And this time of year, it's yay, Christmas, joyous time of year. But also, it's cold as fuck. It's dark. The days are shorter. And then we got memories of maybe like Christmas is when we were younger, when we were kids, and maybe people that used to be around that aren't. Maybe there's pressure with all the holiday shopping and getting out there and dealing with the traffic. But it's a challenging time of the year. And I have gotten so many people reach out to me. And, they've always told me that I affect them, inspire them, positive energy. I've had quite a few people tell me that they've been so depressed that they felt like suicidal and like they're battling. And one, that's a lot of pressure for someone to come to you with, and for you to think that it's your obligation to fix them. However, if you care, you don't want that person to die. And if you have some words that maybe could be helpful, why the hell not help somebody? So I think that's what I'm doing. So depression is a real thing that many people won't acknowledge. They treat it like it's not a real thing. It's just all in your head. And I'm somebody that is very much attached to positive energy, manifesting the life that you want, the law of attraction, the power of your thoughts becoming reality. I'm into all of that. However, I do also believe that there's some limits, I love martial arts. Do I really think that the instructor can make himself grow roots through his feet into the earth so that he's unliftable? All with his focus? Fuck no. And I called him on that. You know what I did in front of the class? I lifted him off the ground twice. He said, man, let me try again. You're just strong. Okay, try again. I was like, come on, dude. So, but likewise, no matter how much positive energy you got, no matter how much you try to keep everything in focus and perspective and keep the attitude of gratitude, be friendly, love, be loved. Sometimes there's still depression. Sometimes all of that shit isn't enough. And some of my listeners probably know what I'm talking about. So, people that don't believe what I'm saying is true are going to say, what do you got to be depressed about? You got a great life. Or you need to get outside. You need to get outdoors. You need to get away from that, whatever. They got the answers. But in reality, brain chemistry, it's everything. It controls everything of how we feel. And our brain chemistry sometimes gets unbalanced. We have so much going on all day with our brain. And, there's certain serotonins and dopamines, and there's certain hormones that are released. And all of that affects different things from moods, like depression or happiness, down to working with the stomach and making you hungry, and what's that shit that their liver releases. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is that sometimes some medication can help balance you out, and the haters are going to tell you you're weak. They're going to tell you don't need it. It's all in your head. You're just depressed because you keep thinking about that girl that dumped you, or that thing, or that person that you lost, or whatever. But in reality, sometimes some medication might be made perfect for you to help equalize and balance your brain chemistry, so that you're not weak anymore, so that you can talk without crying and actually feel strong and be able to enjoy life again. And you might need it for a temporary amount of time just to get you out of the hole you're in. You might need it for a very long time. And you might even need it for life. Now, that's scary, right? People don't want to be hooked on a drug and depend on a drug like it's a crutch. And I get it. I mean, that's the way that we're taught to look at most medicines. Your body becomes addicted to it so much that you can't be without it. But some people have faulty wiring in their brain, and without the proper medication, they're not going to have the properly balanced brain chemistry. What do these people do? Kill themselves. They stay depressed, can't get out of it. So I'm telling you, keep checking on me to make sure I'm okay. This is heavy. This is a heavy one. But, you never know what someone else is going through. And I always say that. And lately we've been spending our time watching Petrie just wither away, which isn't fun. And it could be really easy to get depressed. And I do believe in all of the tactics, about, think positive thoughts. And it is good to get out and do happy stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I would never turn my back on drugs the way the society has been taught to since Nancy Reagan said, just say no to drugs. Drugs can be wonderful if they're used properly. They have the potential to be dangerous, just like anything, like a gun, like a car, like a dog. It doesn't make them bad. And when people say drugs are bad, they're obviously only thinking about certain drugs, and they're not really even including drugs and what drugs are. They're being very particular and defining with their own borders what drugs are. Drugs are drugs. Aspirin is drugs, just like heroin is drugs. And for the record, heroin, morphine, cocaine, all that shit used to be in medicine. They used to be sold in in bottles and cough syrup and things like that. And anyway, my point is that sometimes you need a little help. And if you need a little help and you want to get checked out by a doctor, and a doctor might want to put you on some antidepressants or something, don't fucking feel like a pussy and don't be afraid to do it. RVD's telling you to fucking do it. I take them. My mom does. My brother, my sister, my dad did. My wife does. And as far as like getting addicted and having them as a crutch or whatever, dude, one, not everybody is even addictive. I've said this many times. I don't get addicted to anything. I don't care how many people tell me that if I drink 4 cups of coffee every day for 2 weeks, don't stop, I'll get a headache. I don't care if I have 5,000 people tell me that. It still doesn't make it true. I drank 5 or 6 cups of coffee today, 5 or 6 yesterday. You know what? If I don't drink any tomorrow, because instead I get up and I go on a flight and I want to sleep on the flight, so I don't want to have whatever. Doesn't mean I'm going to feel the way that you do. I do it all the time. And just because you might have a problem with it doesn't mean I do. And also, just because you don't have a problem coping with life and feeling good doesn't mean everyone else is the same either. We all got our own brain chemistry, our own makeup. And I used to think that it was weed, and weed does help me feel better, you know what I mean? But I used to think that was enough, and there was a point when it wasn't enough. But if you all watch that wrestler show on Netflix that El Snow did, Hollywood Haley was saying that she smokes weed and it helps her with depression, and they were trying to get her to stop, saying they didn't want her to smoke. And that was the point of her argument, was they don't understand. This actually helps me. But you know what? If a doctor put her on pills or something, and I'm not saying everybody should, and a lot of people have had bad experience. I know of some people that weren't suicidal until they got on Prozac and took Prozac and drank on it, and then they became suicidal. And I know that that can happen, but that's really just like if you open up your heart to a new relationship, it's possible you might get heartbroken. That can happen. Doesn't mean it's going to, doesn't mean there's a great chance of it. And by the way, you might have to try different pills, different dosages until you find the one that's just exactly right for you. And then it takes like 2 weeks of that till you even fucking know. That's been my experience. Grieving. They say grieving is healthy, right? It's healthy. Is it? I think so. At certain times you have to grieve. And if you don't get a chance to grieve and it builds up, that sometimes seems like it can come out in opportune moments. But if grieving is healthy, when it's too much, when you're grieving too much all the time and you can't kick out, when is it too much? When is it healthy? There's people to help you with that. There's doctors. You don't need to decide everything yourself. If you're even questioning it, if you're wondering, like if I'm down too much, or I'm just focused on all the bad and sad and can't get out of it, any of us can get there. Any of us can get there. And if it's you, then I give you permission to try and get some help. It's not easy, but pick up the phone. Dominic's going to put a phone number right here. No, I don't think we have one, but look what
I don't have.
Maybe we'll get one. We should have thought of that. Anyway, dude, everyone is different. We talked about, like, with the animals, how we put them down when they sometimes maybe too early, sometimes who knows. With people, aside from Dr. Kevorkian's death machine, it's some people would wish that they could just die, and then there's people that are super depressed that find a way to hit their own button anyway. And of course, that's when I'm just talking about suicide. And around this time of year, I think it can be kind of high. I'm putting my awareness out there, telling you guys to be aware, talk about your own stories, talk about your own feelings, get open, share it, and don't let anybody tell you that you're a pussy and you got no reason to be depressed. If you're depressed, you're depressed, and I'll tell you the reason why. It's brain chemistry. So tell them to fuck off.
That's great, Rob. I also take medication and I see a therapist. It helps. It saved my life on several occasions. And to your point too, a lot of experimenting and going with it and trying to find the right like
Same,
medication to be what best takes a while, but
yeah, I had
ultimately it's
horrible.
worth it.
That was horrible for me trying the wrong things. Sometimes I'd go out and I'd just be bawling. I wouldn't even know it was coming. I'd be out at dinner and just start crying. I was like, I don't think I got the right meds. I think we got to try something else or switch this up. Yeah, yeah, but
No,
it
it's
was
such
it
a
wasn't a good experience going through all that. But then once I found it, it took everyone told me it would take 2 weeks, and it was like exactly at 2 weeks that all of a sudden I could be like, yeah, my dad died, and I'm not bawling. My dog died. Whoa! All of a sudden it was like magic. It was like it wasn't numb. It was good. It felt strong. It felt like something was pushing back that thing that was trying to come out. Is that how it was with you?
Yeah, it was. And there would be moments where like I was seriously depressed and like seriously there'd be just moments where I would like yeah, I'd feel lonely or I'd cry or anything like that would happen. And like in that moment where like and different experiment like I had several medications, one made my hands shake, the other one would like I would not like I would zone out and like just not for me. I think it was I don't even remember what they were, Wellbutrin or whatever it was. Either
I
way,
take that one and Lexapro.
so Lexapro, that's the one that made my handshake actually.
Yeah. So
So, but
everyone's
it
different. Everyone wants to tell you what works based on their own experience, and they're all idiots for that.
absolutely, and it's like it fits to your brain chemistry and what it is. And I think a key to kind of take away and what I've learned over the time is when you're in the thick of your feelings and you're feeling depressed and stuff like that, you can't take that for reality. It's not necessarily reality. It's just what your body and your brain is telling you that their chemistry is all mixing it up and making you feel a certain way. And that's very hard to keep in perspective at times. And but great RVDology, Rob. This is yeah, very a lot of people have already commented in it too.
Good,
When
good. And you're right. That's why it feels like there's like a big wall of darkness that surrounds you, and you can't see past it, no matter how much happy shit you got going on in your life.
right, 100%,
That's the
100%.
reality is only as far as you can see, and it's nothing but dark. So, yeah, happens to all of us. Well, some
Absolutely.
of us, some of
Yeah,
all,
some of all of us.
not
uh,
just you, is what I'm saying.
you're
Fucking
right. Right.
Jennifer.
B Note says you're honestly one of the most level-headed guys talking about mental illness and appropriate drug use. Again, the brain can malfunction just like anything else in the body. Keep it real, RVD.
Yeah, cool,
Um,
man. Yeah, I should probably talk about my personal experience even more than I do, but felt inspired to do it right now. Good time with everything that's going on. Jennifer, love you, Jennifer. Says, I love what y'all are talking about right now. It's pretty cool that men can talk about mental health. Solid ass men. So that's cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
good, good, man.
Great.
Hopefully, some people will appreciate it, and we are mission driven here to make the world a better
Mission
place.
driven